Mexican law enforcement officials are making arrests and seizures across the country, confiscating illegal drugs and even deadly weapons like IEDs from cartel groups. Border correspondent Jaeson Jones is following these operations, and he joins us live now from Texas with more. Good afternoon, Jaeson.
Well, John, it's good to be with you. And take a look at these images. I mean, it really validates that the Mexican government under the Sheinbaum administration, they are engaged in going after some of these cartels. Now, what you're about to see here are images from one day alone in just one state. Look, I don't have enough time here to show you all the other great work they're doing down there, but just take a look at Sinaloa, where the largest cartel in Mexico, who's been sending so much of that poison into this country, resides. You can see some of these improvised explosive devices along with other weapons that were seized. These IEDs are a great example of just how advanced these cartels have become down there. John, these are part of their drone teams. Just like the war you see in the Ukraine, they put these bombs underneath the bottom of these drones, send them over their adversaries, and then drop them, or over the Mexican government officials who are going after them. But let me just give you some stats here as you're looking at some of this weaponry and some of the labs that they're seizing. They seized 8 storage facilities, 3 labs, able to produce as much as 175 kilos with chemical precursors and methamphetamine, a $4.4 million impact just on the labs alone. But if we really look at some of the data that we're getting in from the Mexican government, it's pretty incredible. In 5 months alone under the Sheinbaum administration, they have apprehended 15,887 people, what they call high-impact crimes, seized 134 tons of drugs, 2 million fentanyl pills, and, John, 644 labs. I want to say that one more time. It's really important as you're looking at some of these images of all of these labs that they've been knocking down there. That is what is going to stop the poison. You've heard me talk about what's the purpose of this? Why am I showing you what's happening in Mexico? Because when they're going after those cartels, they don't have the ability to produce this deadly poison and send it into this country. So it has been the single point of failure. We can't seize and arrest our way out of this problem at our border. We've got to go after these cartels. And look, this is a validation that collaboration is happening. And I can tell you, as somebody, John, who's been doing this for almost 30 years now, going back to the Calderon administration, we've not seen this level of collaboration and bringing people into this country as they're apprehending them. I've got so much more to tell you right now, but there's about as much time as we can show you in just one.
Well, I wanted to ask you a question too, Jaeson, before we have to let you go. But let's talk about this ranch of horror that we've talked about before, where all these bones and shoes and all, it looked like there was some sort of satanic ritual going on there. 2 ex-Mexican police officers were just arrested in connection with that. Mexico's security minister now says the ranch was not an extermination camp, but rather a cartel training site. What can you tell us about that?
Well, let's talk the history here of Cartel Jalisco New Generation, who was in control of that ranch. Historically, we have seen these training sites being used like this. And look, a lot of the people that they are recruiting, John, what they do is they just pick them up off the street. They force them to be cartel members. This is why I was so concerned about all the migrants that were down in Mexico, because they'll just pick them up off the streets and force them. Those that refuse to become cartel members and go through this training, they'll just kill them. I mean, there's even reports that are well documented by great reporters down in Mexico, where they even force some of the recruits to eat some of the individuals they killed to take their souls. This all is a part of Santa Muerte, Santa Maria, and these different things. And by the way, there were 3 incinerator sites at that location, along with human remains that were found. So the Mexican government's going to have a difficult time walking this back, that this was not a mass murder type thing. But that's what they're trying to do right now. Look, we don't know the details, right? We're here and they're down there, and they're trying to work this. But what I can tell you, historically, they've had a real problem with mass executions by these cartels down there.
Yeah, the images that we saw definitely tracks with the type of thing you're talking about, Jaeson. I can imagine there's a little public relations campaign by the Mexican government to downplay this based on what actually took place at the so-called Ranch of Horrors. Jaeson, always great to see you. Thanks for another informative report. We'll see you soon.
Good to be with you, John.